Hello, my name is Gronowicz. I'm a second-year medical student at the University of Central Florida. Welcome to my presentation on ACE inhibitors do not stimulate type 2 collagen expression in primary human chondrocytes. All right, to begin, you need to know that osteoarthritis is a disease that affects the joints. It affects the articular cartilage, the subchondral bone, and the synovium. And chondrocytes are the cells that produce that articular cartilage. With the main treatments that address osteoarthritis today, they replace the joint surface or address the joint surface with materials other than the native hyaline cartilage. So these represent inferior replacements to the hyaline cartilage in that they don't have regenerative ability. With that said, deserpidine was found by our lab to be a natural product with angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitor activity as well as stimulatory activity of chondrogenesis. So in this project, we wanted to evaluate the effects of other ACE inhibitors on type 2 collagen production, specifically neonatal chondrocytes, to see if ACE inhibitors could represent a treatment for osteoarthritis in the future. All right. And then going into the methods a little bit, we used the primary neonatal chondrocytes, like I said, and they were special because they were genetically engineered to express the calciluciferase under the Cal2A1 promoter. And I'll explain why that's important a little bit later, but the cells were expanded. They were put in a 96-well plate with 10 different test conditions, 7 different ACE inhibitors at their IC90 concentrations, which was determined by us using a colorimetric ACE enzyme inhibition assay. In addition to that, we had deserpidine at 5 micromolar, positive control of TGF-beta1, which is known to be stimulatory for chondrogenesis, and then a negative control with no addition. As I said, they were the genetically engineered calciluciferase cells, and this was important because whenever the type 2 collagen promoter Cal2A1 is activated, then it will also transcribe the luciferase enzyme, and the luciferase enzyme by itself isn't important, but when you add the substrate, we can make it luminesce, which will then kind of give us a proxy for the type 2 collagen production in the cells. We also assess the aggregates Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the pellet size using a Pico Express imager. We also fed them Monday, Wednesday, Friday as well. And then at the end, we did a resazirin assay for metabolic activity, and then we also did some staining. And so if we get on to the results here, we have the luciferase assay luminescence days 1 through 21 right here at the top of figure 1. And our positive control was this upper line up here. And as you can see, that was clearly significant with the stimulatory effect. But other than that, there was nothing significant other than on day 14, where you saw deserpidine to have a significant stimulatory effect versus the other test conditions with a p-value of 0.0361. Moving on to figure 2, this is the pellet area data. You see the same thing as we did in the luciferase assay largely, where the TGF-beta1 was significant as our positive control, but there was no other significance, and there was no significance on day 14 for the pellet area. Moving on to the resazirin assay, same thing. There was no significant differences. We actually excluded TGF-beta from this one as to not make it harder to see, as we did with these other individual day graphs. We have some histology over here with the pellets, and when we stained them with saffron and O and did some immunohistochemistry with them, if there was elevated amounts of type 2 collagen, you would see some additional redness if there was more type 2 collagen or additional glycosaminoglycans. And really, between the pellets, we didn't see any significant difference or any additional red staining coming through. All right, moving on to discussion. So in this study, we evaluated the temporal effects of the ACE inhibitors on neonatal chondrocytes, on the chondrogenesis of them, and our results showed that the ACE inhibitors at their IC90s really have no effect on chondrogenesis or cell metabolism. So with that said, deserpidine may act through the dopamine or the mu opioid receptor signaling systems other than the RAS system. Or there may be donor-dependent effects because all these cells are from the same donor. But all in all, this should steer investigators away from ACE inhibitors as a potential to treat osteoarthritis and to go to more promising targets. But with that said, they could also be safely used in osteoarthritis patients. All right, thank you very much.